full screen. There we go. That's what we need. Okay, so first of all, we're going to make the little pig. He's quite a cute character. He's lying down on his belly. So what I've got here is some pink sugar paste, and I've added a little bit of CMC or Tylose powder to the mixture so that I can allow it to harden off. Just makes it a little bit easier to work with. It's not so sticky on a hot, humid day. Give it a good old warm up, and then we're going to divide this bundle into 3 pieces. One slightly larger piece for the body itself, and these 2 pieces will be for the head and the features and the limbs. So it's just a little bit more on the body one. Put the other 2 in a bag so that they don't dry out, and go ahead and warm up this first shape. This piece we're going to make into a ball, nice and crack free. So press between the palms of your hands, roll nice and tightly. Release the pressure to reveal a crack free ball. And then using the heel of your hand here, we're going to press down on one side and roll a couple of times to create a cone shape. So that is the little pig's body. Just going to press a little bit on the front here to make it flatten slightly. And this part here is going to be where his tail is. So we can always make already make a little indent for his piggy wig tail. And we can also, I've just used a spaghetti stick for that. We can also make a little bit of, paint a little bit of glue onto where the head's going to go, and where the back legs, and where the front legs are going to go as well. Just everything's starting to get nice and tacky. That's the important thing. Then take the next piece of paste that you've got, break off a bit. Well, we're going to do the limbs first. So we'll make 3 balls roughly the same size. Let's just get those made first. So this is a processed pea size of paste, and each ball needs to be the same size. You can make the back legs slightly larger. So there'll be the back legs, and then the front legs we can have just slightly smaller. We're all going to be prepared in roughly the same way. So we'll be a little bit more generous because I've got enough paste here. I just make those balls slightly bigger. So nice tight roll, get a nice smooth ball. And the idea here is to create an elongated sausage shape. Just check the balls are the right size first, so we'll just get these all warmed up. Release the pressure and try and match those up as best you can. I think this one belongs with that one, and this one just a little bit off there. That belongs with the front. So we'll make the 2 front legs slightly smaller. So picking up just one of the shapes, put it into the palm of your hand, and then using this part of your hand, roll across the shape to create a sausage shape. Doesn't matter if it ends up a little bit cone shaped. If you have got a fat end, then that piece is going to go flat down onto the surface, and we're just going to press down onto it so that we get a flattish area ready for his foot. So go ahead and do that to all 4 shapes. Lovely. Okay, so after that you can use your cutting wheel. All we want to do now is cut in just a hoof end. So just one little bit to form a trotter. Do that to all of them. This will be the top of the foot. When we're putting these on, we'll know which way they go. Okay, so the 2 that have come out the largest, they will be the back ones. So we can just sit those on. These figures are quite small, but of course you can make them bigger if you would prefer. Okay, so now we've got a little bit left, plus we've got the 3rd ball that we kept to one side. So we can just pull off a piece now that we feel would be big enough roughly for the head. So that would probably be okay. And it's got quite a fat head. It's not as big as his body though. So into a ball, and then just 1 or 2 rolls just to get an oval shape. Okay, and that can be attached. We've already put the glue, so we can put that onto the front, and we'll just position that so that it's sitting on to the inside of the 2 legs. Okay, it's probably at this point as well that you might find it more beneficial to actually go ahead and put this onto your board. I'm just going to move the head back a fraction. It needs to be a little bit further back. Okay, lovely. Now, I want to make a few markings here. I know that I've got his snout to go on. So we're going to, actually I might put the glue on first. So we'll just put a little bit of glue across the front of his face. That's going to be where his snout is attached. And then if I just make a little indent either side here so that I know roughly where the ears are going to go. Put a bit of glue on there. While we're there, we may as well put some glue into the tail hole. And we can go ahead and take a little ball of paste, probably the size of a processed pea, same size as the front legs. And that piece, if we just roll it into a bit of an oval shape and press down a little, not so it's so too thin. And if we press around the edges to flatten the sides, so we end up with a nice snout shape. Okay, so something like that. That piece will go on in a moment. I just want this glue that we put on to absorb a little bit into the paste. And while I'm doing that, I'm just going to pull off 2 pea-sized small balls, smaller than the snout. Just match them. This is for the ears. He's very quick and easy to do this one. So into a ball, run your finger across the bottom edge of the ball, the bottom side of the ball, into a cone shape or teardrop shape, and press to flatten. If you find that your hands are getting a little bit sticky, then just use some cornflour. So into a ball, into a cone, flatten. These pieces can already go on, so we stick it so the fat end is up at the top there, and just have a little bit of curl going on as well, because that makes it look quite good. The area where his snout is going to go should be wet enough now, or tacky enough now, so we should be able to stick the snout on without it sliding off. And I've got here some linguine, but normal spaghetti will work. And if you just press in 2 little indents for his nostrils, and we know now where the eyes are going to go. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue into the eye holes, and just a tiny bit, because I don't want to overdo it. And you can either use sugar pals, or you can make the balls yourself using black paste. So we'll just take 2 sugar pals. These are just tiny ones. Oops, just got my place. Kind of eye size, but you want to just make sure you've got 2 that are the same size. Drop those into place. And a little push on. Small amount of glue. Just try not to handle them because the colour will come off. And there you have a little pig. We've forgotten his tail. So his tail is a very, very small, almost pip size. So it's going to be smaller than the ears. And we roll it into quite a thin sausage. And if you then curl it up, just like a snail, you end up with a squiggly wiggly tail that can just go in there like so. And that's your pig. So we'll just transfer him onto his little resting space, ready for the rest of the farm animals. Fabulous. Okay, so I'm going to make The little duck next is a little bit more complicated. So we're going to take from a small quantity, it's probably a gobstopper ball paste, a little bit larger. And I'm going to take 2/3 of that off for the body. So we'll put that in a bag just so it doesn't dry out. And then give your paste a nice warm up. Roll it into a ball. And we're going to roll it initially into a cone shape. So into a ball, into a cone. Okay. Now, if we turn this, that becomes the tail. But we need to elongate this top bit now to make it into a neck shape. So I'll come between my finger and my thumb up here and start to bring the neckline up. Make that taller, but not too skinny, because it's quite a challenge to make this duck to stay upright, but we do want it taller than the tail. So that sort of height. It's almost like a giant hook. It's quite an unusual shape. And we want it to sit. So we just want to press it so it flattens just slightly. So you've got this shape going on. Okay. Now, to help support it, we can put a piece of spaghetti in there already. So this, we can just gently press in. What you might find there is that it might shrink the neck. So if you bring the neck up a bit more, if that happens. So it's almost like a clog shape. And sit there. Make sure that your spaghetti stick is nice and upright, not at an angle. Okay. Now, to help us a little bit, we can stabilize him. We're just going to warm up some more paste and make 2 wings. But before I do that, I need to glue. So we'll put a little bit of glue just on either side where we think the wings are going to go. And then take a processed pea ball of paste and match that with the second size, so you know you've got 2 balls the same size. You can see I've got quite a bit of glue on there, so I'm just going to take that off because that could cause a bit of a problem if it's too runny. So into a ball, into a cone shape, tap to flatten. Your hands are a little bit sticky, then use some cornflour. Take a cocktail stick or a piece of spaghetti and just run the edge of the cocktail stick or spaghetti across the side and over the top to give yourself a little wing shape. Into a ball that looks a little bit like a hand, into a ball, into a teardrop shape. Peel that off your hand and then just run the cocktail stick or the spaghetti stick down to get some feather look. Those can be attached, and if you make it so that they're slightly touching the surface, then that is going to stop or help stop the shape from falling over. Just readjust the head, make sure it's nice and upright. Okay, now he has got one little tip to his tail here. He's also going to have 2 further cone shapes going in, one either side, which will be for his tail. We take a cocktail stick and make a little indent on this side. And the same on the opposite side. Take a little bit of glue. Paint that glue into those 2 holes. And we can go ahead, I think this is probably more likely be a small pea size. Roll it into a cone. Do the same with the second one. into a cone. If you feel like his tail in the center needs to be a little bit more pointed, and you can adjust that now, and then take the pointy end of the two other shapes that you've made. These look a little bit too big, so I'm just going to make them smaller. I'm going to make them pip size. So into a ball, into a cone. Do the same with the other one, and they can be popped in. So that will give you, looks a bit like a seal now, doesn't it? Okay, so that's his back part. And now we come to make his head. Now this is far too big at the moment. Now ideally, if you have the time, what you can do is actually make it the body like it is now, and then stop and let it dry for a couple of hours before you go ahead and put the finishing touches and the head on. So we could, if we wanted to, put a little bit of glue around the neck area now. That will just help hold the head. So around here. And we can make the head off of here. But we just need to check that it's going to look realistic size-wise. So this is more like a slightly small Malteser ball into a cone. The pointy end is going to be uppermost. Kind of looks all right. I feel like I want a little bit more paste. So just grab a little bit more white. Not too much, just a little bit more. Nice warm up. Into a ball, into a cone shape. Fat end facing down. We can ease that onto his body. Okay, so now we've got his head on. Just going to bring that around so that we know where we're going to make our markings. So I know that I probably want to have some little plumes on the top of his head. So I'm just going to make 3 cocktail stick markings up the top here. And I'm going to glue where those indents are, and also across here a little bit, because that's where his beak's going to go. We need to leave some room for his eyes. Now I can pre-make the beak. I've got some orange. I've just used a pink, fuchsia pink, and melon yellow to colour my beak. And I want to create a cone shape. So ball into a cone. Tap it a little bit to flatten. And then in this flattened end, I want to slice through using the cutting wheel. So just divide the fat end so you end up getting a mouth opening. We can open that a little bit further. And we'll use the cutting wheel again, just to slice a little bit of the pointed end off. Because although we want a tapered finish, we need an area that's flat enough to sit onto here. Now, having glued this area, I'm just going to press in, just make an indent. So I'll just use a kebab stick for that, or a spaghetti stick. If you leave the glue until you've pressed the indent in, it's probably a better idea. So now this piece here is going to slot into here. Okay, cocktail stick, we can give him 2 little nostril holes. And above that, I can make a couple of little marks where I know I want his eyes to be. And those marks, I need to put a little bit of glue in. So if you've got a finer brush, it's probably going to help you, because the brush that comes with this glue is a little bit thick. So we'll just put an indent on, a little bit of glue in there, and we can come back to our little eyeballs. Push 1 in. Try and find 2 that match in size. So there's his eyes. And now all we need to do is the plumes on the top, which is going to be similar to the ones that we did for his tail. So I think these need to be quite small, and we'll make 3. They're pip size. This is these beaks moving a little bit, so we need to sort that out. So either in your palm like so, and just roll one side, or because these are quite small, we might be able to turn your fingers a little bit and actually make the point that way. And if you've got one that's bigger than the other, so this one can go in the middle as the largest one, and then we can pop in the smaller ones. Push those together a little bit, and there you have your duck. He's quite cute. Okay, so we're going to make the cow next. So we'll start off with a nice amount of paste and take a third, or break it into 3 pieces, similar size, like we did before. And if you've got a larger piece, keep that for the body and move the other pieces to the side. So we're just going to give that a warm up. This will be for the body. 1/3 of the remaining paste that you've divided will be for the limbs and the tail, and the other for the head. So what I do now is we'll get that into a nice warmed up ball of paste into a cone shape. And if we hold on to the back here and just press to bring that up. You have to excuse the state of my fingers. I've just coloured some paste and it's all stuck to my hands. And if you're used to colouring with this paste, you'll know that it takes about 2 hair washes to actually get all that off your fingers. It will come off eventually. So a little belly button there, just an indication of where the front and back of this figure is. And then I'm just going to press a couple of little indents either side here. So I've just brought my fingers into the side and given them a little press so that they are ready to receive the back legs. So we're going to put a little bit of glue in there, and also where the arms are going to go. We can also make a little indentation at the back. So we can use the spaghetti stick for that, just a little indentation ready to receive a little elongated cone, okay, which we'll do in a while. So I'm going to do a black and white cow. The next bit is to do the legs and the arm, the front and the back legs. So like we did with pig, we want to roll out 2 balls of paste matching size for the front, and then 2 slightly larger balls of paste for the back. So the 2 top legs are going to be slightly bigger than, or more like a chickpea size, and then we're going into slightly smaller than a Malteser. Okay, so take one shape at a time. I'll show you how to form these into legs. So we've got to make sure it's crack-free first. Ball, and then I'm just going to take my finger over 2/3 of the ball, place it on and roll. Now by doing this, I'm going to keep one end fat, and that's going to be the hoof part. So we can just press that. Okay, now I can do that again for the second piece. So ball, roll, hoof. Okay, so those are the back legs. Now the front legs. Now the front legs are made as elongated cones. So ball, use the heel of your hand into an elongated cone shape. Do the same for the other one. When I'm rolling, I'm pressing really firmly between my palms. It's really important to get the paste warmed up and all the air squished out. And we can bring our figure back in. Put the 2 hind legs on. Looks a little bit like a teddy bear now. And we're going to put the front legs on as well. Okay, I like to tip these out a little bit, and you can see how it could be identified as a teddy bear. Then we want to take our spaghetti stick. I've used linguine here because it's slightly thicker, but any spaghetti will be fine. And we're going to break that off so there's only about 1 centimetre showing at the top. Put a little bit of glue around the stick just so that the head will attach. And then we have some paste left, and we've got our last third that we've divided, so we know we've definitely got enough. So I'm going to create a little head now. It's going to be a cone shape. The cow and the sheep, the little lamb, are made in a very similar way, just with a few changes in the detail. So a ball of paste, it's bigger than a Malteser, smaller than a gobstopper, and we're just going to roll that into a cone shape. And this can now be attached with the narrow end facing backwards. So that's his head. This is where it changes from a teddy bear to something rather alien looking. Now we know we're going to want some little mini horns, so they can have a little indent ready. And we've got some ears going on, so although they're just going to be laid on, it's quite a good idea to have a little bit of an indent ready to help it set in. Take a little bit of glue, paint the glue across those indents and into those holes. We've also got a muzzle going across here as well, so we can already paint that. And we've got some eyes going in, so we can just decide where we want those eyes ready. And those eyes we can paint with a finer brush, just to get that a little bit wet. Let's get some glue on there. Just ready to receive the eyeballs. Okay, so the cow's ears and horns on this one are white, so we can go ahead and make those. I'm just waiting for this muzzle area as well. I want that to warm up a little bit. So if we take 2 balls, roughly the same size, pea size I would say, and then we want 2 little pip size balls. The pip size balls are going to be for his little horns, so we're just going to roll those into cone shapes, drop those in. Looks like a hippo now. And then for the ears, it's into a ball, into a cone, just place that down. Do the same with the second one, so roll it into a ball, into a cone, set that one down as well. Take your spaghetti stick or your cocktail stick and just press in an indentation. This is an indentation for the ear. And then take each one in turn and position it either side of the horns. I think I might have pulled the antenna earlier. It's not quite right. And then we can take our little pearl balls again, which I've just dropped, and drop those into his eyes, or his eye sockets. These are a bit, they do go everywhere. You need to catch them. So now he's got his eyes in, and we need a little bit of probably pale pink for his muzzle. So we've got a bit of pink left over from the pig, so we can take that for his nose area. So into a ball, into an oval shape, press it just a little bit, and then a bit like the pig, we put that on. I'm just going to work that onto the white paste. It might be a bit slippery still. I just want to get that stuck on with my thumb all the way around. So I've just pressed all the way around. And then we can go ahead and give him 2 little nostrils. And if you wish, you can give him a little smile. So this is a smile tool, but you can create this by making or getting a straw and actually just cutting a piece out of there, and then you'll be able to give him a little smile like so. Okay, and then he can have little black patches. So all you need to do for that is take a little bit of your black sugar paste. While I'm here, I'll just show you how to get the eyes made out of black sugar paste. Where I can avoid it, I try not to work with the black, or if I do, I work with it last because I don't want the colour to go everywhere because it's very strong on your fingers. If you want to get eyeballs instead of using the sugar pearls, then if you take a piece of black and bring it to a point, and then just between your finger and thumb, pull off a quantity and roll it between your finger and thumb to try and get a little ball. If you can't roll it between your finger and thumb, you could actually just drop it onto the palm of your hand and you can roll it there. But what you want to do is make two the same size. The grease or the fat that's in the paste should allow you to get that stuck to your finger, ready to transfer onto the glued eyeball hole, and that would be wetter than your finger, so it should come off straight away. So we'll save these because we don't need them for the moment, but I might use them for something else. So the patches is entirely up to you how many of these you make, but if you want, you can put them on the soles of his feet, and you can have one maybe on his tummy, one on his arm, you could have one on his face, and you could have one on his back, however you would like. I'll just show you how to make them. So you don't need a very big piece of paste. And what you want to do is just flatten it out. Now you may need a bit of cornflour on your fingers, and all you want to do is tease that out so it becomes a random kind of non-circular shape, a patch if you like, and then you can decide where that's going to stick. So I'm just going to put one there and one on his arm just so that you can see how it works. So just pull out another one slightly smaller, another little patch which can just simply go on his arm like so. Okay, and there you have your cow. Let's move these pieces off. Okay, so the last character is a sheep, and what I'm going to do again is take probably need about a gobstopper's worth. Not a huge amount because really you only want the inner part of the body, so the outer part's going to have balls on it, which makes it even bigger, and your cow's only small, so you want to try and kind of match that in size. So I feel like I want to take a little bit more off of that. So as a body, it's a ball into a cone shape. Make it a little bit taller just so it makes it easier to work with. Sit it upright so that you've got a cone shape with a little bit of a plump part at the front. Now, before we do anything else, we've got to make balls for the sheep and to stick them on. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue all the way around, and we start to make little balls. Warm your paste up first, it's going to be much easier. Just move this out of the way. So warm this up, and then once it's crack free and feeling nice and soft and easy to work with in your hand, just start to make ball shapes. Now, the smaller you make these, the longer it's going to take for you to fill up the area. So my suggestion to you is to start by making a few. They can be different sizes, and when you've made a few, go ahead and stick them on. Don't leave them all till the last minute, because you'll find that they'll have started to dry, and as you press them on, they'll start to crack. So probably up to about 10, and then you'll need to get sticking. And you can start wherever you want. You just want them fairly close together. You can give them a little press, rub your hands in a bit of cornflour if you feel that it's going to stick. So just start to fill in the whole of the cone shape too. make it look like wool. Okay, so I'm nearly there. I'm still putting balls on, but I'm nearly there. Maybe a couple more. So the whole thing's filled up. It's a bit strange, doesn't it? I just want to reshape him a little bit so that he looks a bit more rounded, but you can see that's giving us roughly the shape we need. Now, I know that he's going to need, I'm going to pick the best side, let's say that's the back definitely. He's going to want 2 legs, so I'm going to just push in 2 little indents here and here, and straight away I will glue into those areas and paint a little bit of glue on the top here as well for his arms, and we'll pop some spaghetti stick through the center. So again, you could leave this to dry before you go ahead and push the spaghetti in, or if you want to, you can leave it to dry before you put the head on. And then we're into using black. So I've used all the white that I'm going to until I get to the eyes and the hair. So I'm just going to put myself some black. This is where you need to be careful because you don't want the black colour to bleed. So when you're gluing, you want to just be very precise with your glue, but also when you're handling the shape now, you don't want to handle areas that want to stay white. Okay, so start off with the hind legs exactly the same as the cow. So 2 balls, roughly chickpea size, and then more processed pea for the arms. So slightly skinnier. A little bit more on that one. And then let's start with the 2 fatter ones. I have put CMC in here. It's important that you have something that helps it harden. Use a clean finger to roll. You want a skinny leg but a fat hoof. Pick that up, put it down, and then do the same again. So warm it up, full, clean finger, roll, skinny leg, fat foot. And then we'll go ahead and make 2 elongated cone shaped arms for elongated cone. So these will sit either side here, and these will go on where you've put your glue, either side here. Feel like that spaghetti is just a fraction long. Now I can go back to my other black. Make looks like a panda. Could be a panda. Ball into cone. This is where you've got to be careful that you haven't got white on your hands, because then you end up with a multicolored head, which is what I've done. So into cone shape, and then just pop that on, having put a bit of glue underneath. Now I do need to clean my hands because I feel like I have a mix of white and black on my hands, which is not going to give me a good clean finish. So just a little damp cloth on the sides, always very useful. So now we can come back in, and as before, we're going to make 2 indents for where the ear holes are going to, or where the ears are going to sit. And I can also go ahead and put 2 little eye holes where I know that that's going, where they're going to go. He can have 2 nostril holes and potentially a smile the same as the cow. So we'll just push that in, support the head. We can pull that down a little bit. You could even make him a daisy, couldn't you, to go in there. So he's got quite a cute little mouth now. Okay, still look a bit weird. And go ahead and make his ears. So 2 balls, same size, pip size. And we can take a little bit of glue into the ear indents. A little bit on the top of his head because we're going to attach some little curls, and then some glue on his eyes. So these ones ball into a cone, ball into a cone. Same as the cow, if you remember. Indent, indent, fat end goes towards the bottom. So there's his ears in there. I'm going to clean my hands again because I want to handle some white now. Okay, if we start off with his eye sockets, we can give him 2 eye whites. So match the ball sizes first. Don't make them very big because when you flatten them, they're going to come out larger anyway. Okay, so ball, pick it up, give it a tap already to flatten. Ball, tap to flatten. On they go. And to help you be precise where your eye pupils are going to go, then make a couple of marks with cocktail stick, and then go ahead and put a little bit of glue. Now this time, if you remember, before I had actually made the eyeballs out of sugar modelling paste, so we can pick those up and pop them in to our Sheik character. This one's slippering all over the place. So on go his eyes, and then just check your fingers are clean, and you can go ahead and make some little elongated sausages, so tiny little kind of worm shaped ones. And a bit like we did the pig's tail, if we curl those up, then we can give him a couple of curly-whirly bits for his head. Again, just make sure that you haven't got too much colour on your hands, otherwise it's really going to show. So a small one there, looks like he's wearing curlers. Slightly smaller. Now I think I missed the tail off the cow. So we need to sort that out in a moment. So that's his hair. Now if I turn him around, you could just put an indent ready for a tail hole. So we'll just give him some glue in that indent, and we'll give him a little white tail, which essentially will be a cone, and the pointed end is going to go into the hole. So a little cone, and that can sit in. Well, to be honest, it looks like a little doesn't look right, does it? Let's make it a bit bigger. Looks just like a bit of wool. So into a ball, into a cone shape, that's a bit better. And then that can go in like so. So now he's got a tail. The cow will have a white tail, put a little bit of glue in there. That was this tail hole that we marked. And it would have fairly thin sausage, even thickness, a swishy tail to get rid of the flies. So that would just sit in like so. And as a final touch, bit of glue, and we just put a ball, cone, and have the fat end this time sitting just touching. So that gives you the tail. Okay. So now you have your 4 figures. We can transfer these onto here. There's one. And then the last one, I suspect his tail will probably come off. We'll fix that in a moment. Oh, he's slippery, this one is. Go ahead and get his tail back on. Okay, so there you have your 4 farm animals. Hope you enjoyed that, and look forward to seeing you soon. Bye.